Welcome to my channel to everyone who's new here, and of course for those of you who are back again, great to have you here. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Render, TAO, Kaspa and ONDO. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. Let's just start with Render. So, what do I see for Render? I see a shoulders formatation. If it breaks to the downside at the price mark of $4.30, then I just took the length of one shoulder, put it to the breakout point, and the target is going to be $4.03. We also have the chance getting into the support of $3.90. If we get that kind of price movement, then this was our head and shoulders formatation. But on the other side, we get the same pattern just on a bigger chart. Left shoulder, head. Then we should see a bounce, right shoulder, breakout, lower prices. That's the bearish scenario. I also see some kind of a bull flag. Yeah, we see with many coins at the moment that they are in some kind of bull flag and bullish pattern. I didn't find one for Render. I just found one where we have one touch point from the outside, one touch point from the inside. I have just connected those two candles with each other, and I have just put it then to the upper part of that price movement. So what I want to see is to actually think that this bull flag is going to get valid. I want to see more touch points. And if I see them, or if I have to change my bull flag to get more touch points, then I'm going to do it. Then we have a bullish pattern. But at the moment, the bearish pattern has more value in my opinion. And the chance that Render's going to sell off to $3.90 is high to me. But first of all, we have to break the $4.30 to the downside. Then we can talk about more bearish scenarios. So what about TAO? TAO also developed a bearish chart pattern. The bearish chart pattern is this here in orange, the rising wedge. So if the rising wedge breaks to the downside, $422 US, then the target of that rising wedge is going to be $330 US. But also keep in mind, we have fair value gaps at $362 US to $330 US. I will also put here the price mark, so you always see the numbers. Everything between $360 US to $330 US is going to get very interesting. So if we break to the downside, if I want to short in that kind of market stage, I can do it. But then I would start taking profits starting from $360 US in small portions down to $330 US unless I see even more bearish chart patterns. I just think that we have some kind of price movement to the upside with corrections, and you already see it. The correction here is also big. Then we get another push, another correction, which is just going to be a higher low, and afterwards a nice push. So you already see a green trend line on the chart, which is the $497 US. We can see here many touch points. I think I count five touch points, and that's a valid resistance. If that breaks to the upside, then I think the target of this big falling wedge, which also broke to the upside and got its retest, target $745 US. Once the $497 breaks to the upside, I think with a high chance we are going to see the area between $680 US to $745 US. The $680 US are resistance on the bigger time frame. You can already see it here. We also have touch points there. Also, if we zoom in here, we also got support here, fell lower than that, retested it, lower prices. So this trend line is valid. Everything in that area is, in my opinion, the top. I don't want to say that from there we are going to get into the bear market, but I can actually think about a price dip to the downside, one last push, and afterwards another big correction. We have to see, we have to track it, see more chart patterns. For now, this is just speculation. Once we have chart patterns, like for example the bright blue one here, which broke to the downside and got our retest. I'm talking about this rising wedge, which broke to the downside, got its retest right here. The target was the 168 US dollar, and we went perfectly to it. So basically, in my opinion, chart patterns are a good orientation. Yeah, they are not always working, but quite often and quite detailed. So if that rising wedge breaks to the downside, 422 US dollar, then I can think about getting prices into the area here where we form a higher low. And afterwards, hopefully, we have the strength to break out over the green trend line for nice gains for TAO. So what about Kaspa? Kaspa was in an inverted head and shoulders formatation, which broke to the upside, got its retest. The retest just went a bit lower. So that's why we don't take the length of the head right here at the breakout point, we take it to the retest point. Target 12.2 cents. And I think this is going to be possible once we break. Let me take it to the right side like this. Once we break the bull flag to the upside. And we will break the bull flag to the upside at 11.4 cents. This is the price mark at the moment. We have to move it over the time. So in the next couple of hours, if we're going to break it to the upside, the price is going to be 11.3 cents. So once we break it to the upside, the first target possible is the top here, targeting at 11.9 cents, but the overall target 12.2 cents. So if we go into the 8-hour chart, then you can also see a huge double or triple bottom pattern. Both are the same, in my opinion. The target is the same actually, and the breakout point, that's why I don't care if it's a double bottom or triple bottom pattern. Anyway, if we break it to the upside, which is the price mark of currently 13.2 cents, then we should see a nice rally up to 20 cents for Kaspa. Based on my speculation, I would say once we break the 11.4 cents to the upside, which is this bull flag, with a high chance we should see the 12.3 cents. We also have seen that my targets got overshot in that current market stage, so we are more bullish than my targets, which is totally fine. Profit is profit in my opinion. As long as we don't do losses, everything is good. We can even reach for that resistance at 13.1 cents. But afterwards, I don't think that we are going to break it to the upside in one rush. I think we are going to see, if we don't even get to 13 cents, if we just get to 12.3 cents, a pullback, and afterwards we should see the strength to the upside, and you can already see it here. We have a fair value gap. This wants to get closed, and yeah, I think we just have to be a bit more patient and don't panic if we sell off, because if we sell off, you can already see it from the top to the bottom, it's already minus 10%. And if we are just going to sell off into the fair value gap, which we have lower than us right now, then you can also see it's still another 10% from the current price. So basically everything is possible also to the downside without getting bearish. That's why I would be a bit more careful and wait for breakouts to the upside to get into my long position. I don't want to jump into a long position just because everyone is bullish right now. So what about ONDO? ONDO is a bit different. So we have talked about TAO, which has to break the round about $500 to the upside to activate its pattern. We talked about Kaspa, which also have a big way to the upside to actually break its structure to the upside and be more bullish. So if we look into ONDO, ONDO broke out of a big falling wedge, this one here. Let me zoom in. Breakout, retest, follow through. So ONDO looks good. The overall target, in my opinion, for ONDO is the $1.80. But we are also having a small bearish chart pattern. And since we are currently in resistance, because we also have said about Kaspa, we have a double bottom pattern. We have said about TAO, we have a double bottom pattern. I think we also have told it about Render. ONDO has the same, a double bottom pattern. But we have to break the $1 and 13.5 cents to the upside. This is resistance. We also got rejected there. So if we go into the 1 hour chart, then you can see it. We got rejected right at $1 and 13.5 cents. We have formed a bearish pattern, which is a rising wedge. We broke it to the downside. We retested it. So I can take this one to the retest point right here. The target is going to be the 88.7 cents. And getting there is no problem. We can easily sell off in some kind of falling wedge, or let's just assume this is a falling wedge. I know it looks ugly. But if we track then a breakout earlier than the $1.13, if we missed this breakout, then we get one here and hopefully one here. So we can always increase our position size. And if we increase our position size, we are not over leveraged in the beginning. So if we sell off and invalidate our chart pattern, then we would get out with losses. In this case, we can take a risk, a smaller risk in the beginning, and scale up once we break even more chart patterns to the upside, where we have the confidence to say, okay, now we have the target at $1.80. And let's say I took the trade here. Let's say I went all in with all my money which I have. With the increasing price movement, it means that my portfolio is also increasing in its value. So I can actually reinvest my earnings. And I can play with my earnings a bit with a stop loss, saving my initial capital. That's why I like to have more confidence. Yeah, and if we get, for example, a breakout here and we get a double top pattern, which afterwards break to the downside, it might be even possible that we don't see this top here. That's why I like to track chart patterns more and more. And based on that, I can do my decisions. But in the future, we first have to see that chart patterns. What we see right now is a small bearish chart pattern, which should give us a pullback. And that pullback is going to give us the chance to get into ONDO with lower prices for the big push. And once the $1.13 breaks to the upside, it looks so positive to me, because then we have two chart patterns directing us into higher prices. $1.60 to $1.80. I know it looks a lot between that. Yeah, it is for sure. The spread between $1.60 to $1.80 is huge. But if we just take the minimum target from right here to $1.60, this is already 40%. And the maximum target is going to be 60%. So both is good. 40% or 60%, I don't care. Give me both. Where do you get 40%? just with ONDO in my opinion, and with other coins if they break to the upside. So with that said, I hope that I gave you some valuable informations with my video today, and we hopefully see each other tomorrow in the next update.